Please, thank you. Sisters are already. Thank you. I start بفهمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Inshallah, from tonight we start a short introduction to different sections of fiqh. Fiqh has very broad area, and basically anything apart from aqaid and akhlaq, somehow falls under fiqh. Any action that you can imagine has to be discussed in fiqh. Any free action, any voluntary action, not things which are not in our control, but anything that somehow we have control over it comes under fiqh. So our scholars, in order to organize fiqhi issues, they tried to find out ways to classify fiqh. The late Muhaqqiq Hilli, rahmatullah alayh, the author of Shara'i'ul Islam. You remember we said one of the most important scholars is Muhaqqiq Hilli, and he is one of the people whose book has been very well received and lots of commentary on his book, Shara'i'. Even up to this generation, they study his book in fiqh. Very nice book, mashallah. Muhaqqiq Hilli had the idea that we can divide fiqh into four major areas or categories. The way also to explain why it cannot be more than four is in this way. So it's like we say at-taqsim al-thunai, dual classification. He says, for part of fiqh, your action is only valid if there is qasdul qurbah. Yeah? So there are actions that according to fiqh, you need to have niyyah of nearness to Allah. Otherwise the action is not valid. This part of fiqh, we call it ibadat. Fiqhul ibadat. Like salat, zakat, hajj, saum, khums. These are the things that you have to do it with the qasdul qurbah, with niyyah of nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wuzu, ghusl, not washing najas things, but wuzu and ghusl need qasdul qurbah. Okay? So, this is one part of fiqh. Another, or you can say the other side, is when you don't need qasdul qurbah. Again here, it is divided into two parts. Either there is a need for certain recitation, certain formula to be recited, siqah to be recited, or no. If there is no need for any certain recitation, he called it al-ahkam. Like qisas, retaliation, diyat, compensations, hudud, punishments, Islamic punishments. Those things that need recitation of certain formula, these are two categories. Either they need two parties or one party is enough. For example, bay'ah, you need two parties. One person says bi'tu, the other party says ishtaraitu. Okay, one says I sold, the one says I purchased. Or zawaj, nikah, we need ijab and qabul. Yeah? So the woman should recite, or someone on behalf of the woman, the side of ijab, like for example, zawajtuka nafsi ala al-mahr al-ma'lum or whatever, and the other party should say qabiltu zawaj mathalan ala al-mahr. So we need two parties. Or ijara, someone is going to hire or rent, two parties. But there are some recitations that one party is enough. Like what? Al-ibra. For example, you owe me some money. I can forgive you. There is no need for two sides. One side is enough. Or for talaq, divorce, one side is enough. Or for freeing a slave, one side is enough. So, let us repeat again. Any issue in fiqh is one of the two first. Either it's something for which you need qasdul qurbah or not. If you need qasdul qurbah, we call it ibadat. These are acts of worship, like salat, zakat, khums, hajj, sawm. If you don't need qasdul qurbah, then this is divided into two. Either there is a need for certain recitation, formula to be recited, we call it sigha, or there is no need for recitation. If there is no need, we call it ahkam, like hudud, qiyas, diyat, about judging, retaliation, compensations. If there is a need for certain thing to be recited, again it's divided into two. Either two parties are needed or one party is enough. If two parties are needed, we call it uqud, and if the one party, we call it iqa'at. So we have mu'amala, ibadat, uqud, iqa'at, ahkam. This is one way of classification. Sometimes they say just ibadat and mu'amalat. But the way Muhaqqiq Hilli rahmatullah alayh classified, which was accepted by many people, we don't say this is perfect or you cannot do anything else, but this is something that was welcomed by many scholars, is making it into four categories. Then altogether he discussed 48 kitab. I don't know, are you familiar that when fuqaha say kitab al-tahara, kitab al-salah, kitab al-ijara, instead of saying, for example, section or chapter, they say kitab, the book of ijara. Even if you go to collections of hadith, to usul al-kafi, you have kitab al-aql wal-jahl, kitab al, for example, hujjah. Yeah? The book, they call it the book. They call the section the book. Why? Because this by itself is comprehensive and one topic. Plus, another thing that Ayatollah Mutahari actually mentions, the second thing, is that in early centuries, if you go to the time of, for example, Imams, normally fuqaha used to have 1, 2, for example, maximum few subjects in one book. For example, sometimes they had one book on tahara only, one book on salat. Then later comprehensive kutub, we call, jami', that it has from tahara to diyat, all of it. Like for example, if you go to shara'i, all of it. If you go to lum'a, all of it. In the beginning, every person was putting these in small essays or books, not all of them together. So, ibadat are those actions that need qasdul qurbah. Uqud are those things that need recitation but have two parties. Iqa'at are those things that need recitation but have one party, means one party is enough to recite. And ahkam, they don't need qasdul qurbah and they don't need any recitation. Now, we start with ibadat. So inshallah, we want to go through these 48 sections of fiqh, very briefly, but not all of them tonight. Very brief, just like the title. But each of them has lots of discussions in fiqh. The first book that normally you find is Kitab al-Tahara. Of course, nowadays, sometimes they have before that al-ijtihad wa taqlid. But in more classic books on fiqh, ijtihad wa taqlid is not discussed in fiqh. It's mostly discussed in usul al-fiqh. But now sometimes they may bring it in the beginning, especially in Risala Amaliyya, they bring it at the beginning before Tahara. Tahara means cleanliness, but this is ritual cleanliness. Yeah? We have two types of tahara. Because we have two types of uncleanness. One is khabath, one is hadath. Khabath means something is dirty, najasat. We have different types of najasat, like blood, for example, like meter, okay? So, these are things that if your hand, your body, your clothes, your, carpet, touches them and there is wetness, it becomes najis. And therefore, a kind of uncleanliness, ritual uncleanness, is caused by touching or carrying sometimes these things. Okay? Here you need to clean yourself, to wash yourself. Or if it's your clothes, to wash your clothes. A kind of tahara is needed here. But this tahara doesn't need qasdul qurbah. Yeah, you don't need to have qasdul qurbah when you wash your hand or clothes. Of course, if you have qasdul qurbah, you get reward. But even if machine does things properly, it's enough. Yeah, you don't need qasdul qurbah. But then we have hadath, for which you need wudu. For example, you have slept. You have gone to the washroom and you need now wuzu. This is called hadath, not khabath. Khabath is like najasa. Hadath is something which is more spiritual. It's not just something bodily. Therefore needs qasdul qurbah. This is the qasdul qurbah. If hadath is asghar, means minor wuzu is enough. If hadath is akbar, we need ghusl. Like janaba or touching mayyat in certain conditions. This is in need of ghusl. Okay? So we have in Kitab al-Tahara discussions about tahara and najasa and what makes things clean. We have discussion about wuzu. We have discussion about ghusl. We have discussion about tayammum for someone who is not able to make wuzu or ghusl. We have discussion about particular types of ghusl for men, for women, all. So all are discussed in Kitab al-Tahara. Okay? This is the first book. The second thing that they normally discuss is Kitab al-Salah. Salat, as you know, is not only obligatory salat. We have obligatory salat and we have recommended salat. Obligatory salat is not only daily salat. Yeah, it's not only Salatul Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. Salatul Ayat is also obligatory. Salat Mayyat is also obligatory. Yeah? So we have different range of obligatory prayers and we have also different range of recommended prayers. One of the recommended prayers is daily nawafil, like nafila for Salatul Fajr, nafila for Zuhr, for Asr, for Maghrib, for Isha, and Salatul Layl. 34 rak'ah nafila every day. 17 rak'ah daily ritual salat. But we have other types of salat wajib, and we have other types of salat mustahab. They discuss all these types. They discuss also the conditions of salat, like, for example, tahara, facing qibla, the place, the clothes should be mubah, means something that belongs to you or you have permission to use it. And then parts, ajza'us salat, what are the necessary parts, what are mustahab. For example, qunut is mustahab. Ruku is wajib. Then wajib, which part is rukn, which part is not rukn, all are discussed in Kitab al-Salah. Then, if someone is musafir, they discuss it here. If someone's salat has become qadha, they discuss it here. Salatul Jum'ah, Salatul Jama'ah, all here. So in Kitab al-Salah, they discuss all these things. In Dars Kharij, when Mujtahid deals with these issues with reasoning, sometimes one mas'ala can take few weeks to bring all the evidence, opinions, and form a solid argument. Maraja make it very easy for us. They just tell us what to do. But how much it took them to reach to this conclusion, we don't see. Yeah? You don't see. You see a carpet and look at it few minutes and enjoy and say, oh, okay. But you don't know how much efforts have been put to make this carpet. The third is Kitabuz Zakah, alms. Zakah is charity, infaq. It belongs to certain items. For example, if you have golden coin, silver coin, after reaching certain limit, certain amount, you have to give zakat. Or barley, wheat, certain animals, if someone has a certain number of cows or camels or sheep, these are all discussed, plus to whom you can give. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described the people who can be given zakat. إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل. For the poor people, needy people, the people who have to work to collect this and distribute. المؤلفة قلوبهم. Even some people, for example, maybe some non-Muslims or people who maybe disagree with us, to make them more peaceful or more, respectful to us. We can give them money from zakat to bring reconciliation. Al-mu'allafat qulubuhum. Yeah? Or those who are slaves, to free them. Or those who are in debt. Or anything for the sake of Allah. Or those travelers who have no enough means to return home. Details, of course, you have to learn from Risala Amaliyah. But the Quran discusses the expenditure of zakat. In Shia fiqh, in addition to zakat, we have khums, kitabul khums. Our Sunni brothers, they only have khums for booties of the war, because they interpret this ayah, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَأَنَّ لِلَّهِ خُمُسَهُ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, for example. They say it is only booties. Ghanima means غَنَائِمُ الْحَرْبِ. But according to the Shia, ghanima is not only ghanimatul harb. Any profit you make is ghanima. Ightanamta doesn't need to be only for war. So for us, there are different things, like your extra income from either salary or you do trade, or if you find some treasures. Of course, our Sunni brothers have this, but normally they put it under zakat. For rakah is for, if someone finds something under the, ground, something like a buried treasure. According to the Shia fiqh, khums is 20% of certain items, like extra income after end of the year, or according to some maraja, gift, according to some maraja, unexpected gift. Some say every gift, some say unexpected gift. Some say, which is something beyond expectation. About treasures. Then if money is mixed with haram. So there are certain elements that are subject to khums. And khums is divided into two parts. Sahmul Imam alayhi salam, Sahmus Sada. Half of it means 10%. Yes? 50% of the 20%, which means 10%, is for needy sayyids. Because sayyids cannot be given from zakat. Any wajib sadaqah, non-sayyid cannot give to sayyid. Donation is okay, but any wajib sadaqah, like zakat, like kafareh, like fidyah, if you have fitriyah, for example, non-sayyid cannot give to sayyid. But if you want just to help from your own money, it's not a problem. So instead of zakat, they receive from khums. So half of it is for needy sayyids, half of it is for Imam al-Zaman Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. In order to make sure that the way we spend is approved by Imam al-Zaman, we give it to Maraja. Okay? If you see Imam al-Zaman, you can give him directly. There were some akhbaris who used to bury their khums. They say, we don't know what is the view of Imam al-Zaman. We bury it till he comes, he can use them. But I think this is something that you can be 100% sure Imam Zaman is not happy because wasted. We need this money for the community, for our tabligh, for houses. So we give it to Marja because he is Naibul Imam. He is the one that you have between you and Allah found to be most qualified person. Taqwa, knowledge, you have verified. No one has dictated to you. Yes? Between you and Allah, you have hujjah that he is the most qualified person. So instead of me deciding, we give to Marja. It has two advantages. One advantage is that if every person decides, then there is no organization. If it goes to a central body, there is supervision, and that person can decide what are priorities. The second thing is that, and this is very important, people normally don't pay attention to this part as well. Basically, the idea of giving khums and zakat is to detach this money from yourself and detach yourself from money. Some people don't understand. Say, no, I have to use khums myself. Give me permission, I use myself. It means that you are not happy to detach yourself from this money. You must be happy to give it away. And even if you don't know what is going to happen, if you are giving to a trusted hand, that's it. So, we give it to Marja. Then, some Marajas say for needy Sayyids, you need permission. Some, like Ayatollah Sistani, may say, if you know yourself needy Sayyid, you can give directly. They can have different times, different instructions. But anyway, you have to check with your Marja. And then, if you don't check with your Marja and you give khums, you are not sure it's accepted or not. This is very important. Some people, I don't know, may inshallah Allah guide all of us. I don't know why they have found the responsibility to question taqleed and khums. It's very dubious. Is it all for the sake of Allah or someone is somehow directing? Maybe these people don't know themselves because the Shia depend on Marja'iyah, and Marja'iyah has two channels. One is taqleed, and second is to guide people in their expenditure. If people don't do taqleed and don't give their khums, the Shia community is almost finished. We will be living in a chaotic situation. And I don't know why among millions of things in the world, some people feel responsible to question taqleed and khums. There can be no more harmful plan against the Shia community than making Maraj unable to function. If we really know how much Maraj are helping us in giving fatwa and accepting our khums, we would be grateful to them till end of our life. Because they are putting their neck as a bridge for us to go to heaven, inshallah. Every fatwa, there are thousands of fatwa. We just ask a question or read the book. Is there zimma? Yeah? Imam Sadiq said to Inwan al-Basri, La taj'al raqabataka jisran lil-nas. Don't make your neck bridge for people. If someone is not qualified, of course, he cannot give answer to Allah. But these Maraja who are qualified, they are undertaking all the responsibility so that we just easily do taqleed. Plus, they take khums from us so that we have no worry. There were actually some ulama who were not accepting khums, and people had to beg them to accept the khums. Because big responsibility. We hand over this to marja that we have chosen, then we are relaxed. So instead of being grateful, sometimes we think we are doing a favor that we follow them. It's like, for example, if someone is leading Salatul Jama'ah and we follow him, are we doing favor to him? Or he is doing favor that he has accepted to lead us in Jama'ah? Kitab al-Sawm, fasting. We have wajib fasting. We have recommended fasting. Throughout the year, we can fast mustahab. If you don't have Sawmul Qadha, you can do mustahab fasting. There are 2 days that you cannot fast. Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. On these 2 days, you cannot fast. So, someone was saying that I have done all the haram except these 2 harams. I didn't fast day of Eid al-Adha. Only these 2 harams I have never done. Day of Ashura, Ayatollah Mutahari says, is makruh. So, they discuss many things in Kitab al-Sawm. When month of Ramadan starts, how to establish Hilal, the crescent of the month. How do we establish Eid al-Fitr? What are the things that we have to avoid? Muftarat, the things that break fasting. Lots of discussions are there. Then there is a book, just normally after Kitab al-Sawm, Kitab al-I'tikaf. I'tikaf means to stay in a place. Literally means to stay in a place. But technically, i'tikaf is a kind of ibadah that for 3 days or more, you stay in masjid. It should be the biggest masjid in the city, or in some major masajid like Masjid al-Nabi, Masjid al-Haram, Masjid al-Kufa, Masjid al-Basra, or Masjid Jami in any city, for 3 days or more. Rasulullah said that for 10 days in the months of Ramadan, he was doing i'tikaf. The last 10 days, he was not going home. I'tikaf is mustahab by itself. If someone has not done nazr, it's mustahab. But if you start i'tikaf, then it may become wajib. For example, according to Ayatollah Mutahari, he says after 2 days it becomes wajib. Some people may have different views. But it's not that because it is mustahab, you go and then you leave. You have to observe. Then we have Kitab al-Hajj. One of the most difficult sections of fiqh is Kitab al-Hajj. Very difficult. Because there are lots of issues that we have to have clear guidance. It's very, very difficult. As you know, Hajj has different types. We have Hajj Ifrad, we have Hajj Tamattu, Hajj Qiran, and it involves certain actions. There is niyyah, there is ihram, there is tawaf, salatul tawaf, tawafun nisa, salatul tawaf, sa'i, all these things, ram, wuquf in Arafat, in Mash'ar, Mina, different parts, all are discussed in Kitabul Hajj. Normally, Maraja, in addition to their Risala, which has brief discussion about fiqh, they have separate book, Manasikul Hajj, because there's many masail, so they have a separate book for Hajj. There is another book, Kitabul Umrah. Umrah is different from Hajj. Now, For people like us that we go for Hajj Tamattu, we do Umrah and Hajj together. But you can also do Umrah alone. Yeah, you can go another season to do Umrah. Umrah is more simple. Umrah has Ihram, Tawaf, Salatul Tawaf, Sa'i and Taqsir. They discuss it in Kitabul Umrah. Then there is Kitabul Jihad. This is very important. In Islam, jihad needs Qasdul Qurba. Because you have to do it fi sabilillah. There are two types of jihad. Jihad ibtida'i, jihad difa'i. What does it mean? Defensive jihad means you are defending yourself, your country, your city, your religion, your shrines. This is difa'i. And it is compulsory. Everyone either should take part or make sure that there is enough people. Even women might be required to take part in jihad al-difa'i if we don't have enough men. Okay? But jihad ibtida'i means to initiate war. To initiate war. Ayatollah Mutahhari says, according to the Shia, this is only possible when prophet or infallible imam is in charge. Most of Shia jurists say the same thing. Because we don't have right to make decision about initiating war. We can defend ourselves, but not to initiate war. Prophet or imam, if Allah instructs them, that's different. But we cannot do this. But defense is something that is rationally necessary and religiously. They discuss under Kitabul Jihad how should be the treatment of non-Muslims who want to have peaceful relation, and the issue of minorities, the issue of relation with other governments. Lots of discussions are here. Then Kitabul Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. Islamically, which is of course a rational requirement, we cannot be indifferent to what happens in the society, in the world. We are all responsible towards each other. المؤمنون والمؤمنات بعضهم أولياء بعض يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر. We have wilaya over each other. You have wilaya over me, I have wilaya over you. What does it mean? It means if I tell you something which is right, you should accept. You cannot tell me it's none of your business. If you tell me something right, I should accept. I cannot say it's none of your business. We have all one business. Everyone may have their own separate businesses, but we as a whole are one family. Family of humanity, family of ummah, family of school of Ahlul Bayt. Actually, we belong to each other in more than one way. We are all children of Adam. We are all Muslims. We are all Shia. So we have lots of relations. So if you see I am not doing something which I am supposed to do, then you should help me. Nicely, kindly, tell me. Of course, there can be different degrees. If someone doesn't listen, maybe we raise the level. Details are in fiqh, but basically the concept is we should feel responsible towards each other. Otherwise, if we close our eyes, it means that I don't really love you. You don't really love me. If you see I am droning and you don't say anything. Again, this needs Qasdul Qurba. So, these are 10 things that Muhaqqiq Hilli in Sharia brought under ibadat, acts of worship that need Qasdul Qurba, niyyah of nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next lesson is about uqood, which has 15 sections. I think because this lesson finished, we can also stop here, and inshallah we continue next week. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
We will take 2 questions, and after that we will allow Shaykhna to speak for a few minutes. Any questions? Ladies first. No? Gents? Ayusta, please. If you want.
No problem.
Vale.
Last week I asked you to